Okay, now I'm going to explain so people can understand this. What happened in the 18th century, 19th century, Europe, US, and government and all that. Because people tend to be anachronistic. Okay, they tend to judge things by in the light of their contemporary time. And you can't do that, because that's stupid. It's things are not like that. You have to judge things of the past in their milieu, in their environment, in their period, and all that sort of thing. Okay, so here's it's very hard to say this, but I'm going to try it. Here's it is. The founding fathers, okay, they were all believers. They were all religious men. I mean, it's just normal to believe in God, And the same thing with those of Europe, Rousseau and all those people and all that. It's a religious atmosphere, but it was a militant atmosphere, okay? Each state had its religion. You had the Catholic states, you had the Protestant states and all that, and they were very intolerant. They were very violent, hostile, okay? So such that if one religion went to a place of another religion, they risked their lives, they would die and all that. So what the founding fathers wanted to do in America was not to get rid of God, because God was just something taken for granted, but not to establish any kind of state religion. That one religion would dominate and then persecute the others, like what was happening in Europe. That's what they were after. Okay. All right. Now, but what happened now in the 19th century was different. Okay, that's when your official atheism came around. Okay, the people that fought for the democracies in Europe against the kings and queens and all that sort of thing, the monarchs and all, they wanted to establish a religion. I mean, a state, kind of a government state and all that. There was actually atheistic, militant, okay, different from what the founding fathers a century before had established in America, or what even had been established in Europe. Okay, these guys, they said power, all government, all power and authority come from the people, separated from God. There is no God. The absolute power comes right directly from the people, with nothing beyond them or anything like that. So they established something very dangerous. Okay, they established what is known as, and what we call is the lay state. Okay, the secular state. Now that was in Europe. It wasn't in the U.S. U.S. continued with their religious milieu and all that sort of thing. So these guys, they were very violent. Okay, they would overthrow governments, and they would establish this thing, and they would persecute the church. Okay, they wanted to destroy the church. They wanted to destroy God. Right? So this lay state that was founded by these guys, okay, these radicals, extremists, was condemned by the church, by Pope Pius IX and Pope Leo XIII and Pius XI. They condemned this kind of a thing. All right, and then they said, and then there was a lot of persecution. So you had in Germany, for example, the new German state that was coming up, Prussia and all that, the Kulturkampf, all right, the culture of the Germans, with no religion, no God, nothing. And then you had in Italy the Count Cavour with his turn-based government of Italy, with the political state of Italy, persecuting the church and the government, and establishing a secular atheistic government. So that's what was going on in Europe. The church was being persecuted, So it was very militant. It wasn't like the 17th century where we had one religious state fighting another religious state. No, in the 19th century, what you had now was governments fighting all kinds of religion itself, you see. And so you had the establishment of the this kind of atheistic secular state that came around in those centuries and stuff. Now, the Pope said, if you try to establish a state with taking God out, with no foundation of God, and you establish just the population, the people, as the foundation, that leads automatically to tyranny, because if the people, they are the absolute and the last word on the law and everything else, they're going to do anything, and it's the majority that's going to rule. If the majority says we don't want any red-headed people in the country, well, they'll make the law and they get rid of red-headed people, and who's going to stop them? they are the absolute law, you see. And that's what's happened in countries throughout history. When you had these secular states condemned by the church, lay states, persecuting the church, at the same time, they persecuted groups within the church, within the society. And they made any kind of immoral laws they wanted. So in the 19th century, they already started just, for example, with divorce. Unheard of before these lay states. These lay states wanted divorce. They could care less about God or what he said about it or what the church said about it. They were the ultimate law. They were ultimately the basis of the law. See? So that's what happened. So now I'm going to talk, in the next video, I'll talk about the 20th century and what happened there. And what happened in America too. How America became a secular state, which it wasn't before in the beginning or throughout its history. What happened there.